northern Manitoba, a wildfire is threatening a remote community, and its deputy mayor says they're on their own.
We have no air support or ground support at this time.
About 70 residents were told to leave Monday. Roughly a dozen volunteer firefighters were left behind to defend Sheridan, roughly 900 kilometers northwest of Winnipeg.
If the winds change, potentially there could be a total loss.
Next door in Saskatchewan, crews are working furiously after two wildfires merged near the resort village of Candle Lake, about 220 kilometers northeast of Saskatoon. But patience is wearing thin. Community leaders want to clear a section of forest to protect the village, but provincial approval hasn't come down yet.
I need the funds, I need the manpower, I need the dozers, I need that fire break built.
And time could be running out. An evacuation order could happen at a moment's notice.
My understanding is if it gets within 15 kilometers is when we start to make those kinds of decisions.
In Alberta, about 1,300 people from Swan Hills, about 220 kilometers northwest of Edmonton, were told to go as flames crept closer.
It's hard. You think, okay, I've worked all my life to get this, and just praying and hoping that the good Lord is going to make sure that our home is safe.
Wow. Our thoughts and our prayers to families in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta who are dealing with wildfires and wildfire season as it begins now. Now, there isn't much being said in our parliament right now or by our federal government. And we're going to take a look at this now as we have a ton of viewers from across this nation, but especially in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta. Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to a special episode of Bakes on Things. We typically don't do a second episode in a day, but Canada is burning again. As of today, over 17,000 people have been evacuated in Manitoba due to raging wildfires. You saw in the video, it continues across Saskatchewan and Alberta as well. Entire communities are under threat, and a provincial state of emergency has been declared in Manitoba. But where is the national outcry here? Where is our federal government? We've been celebrating the king prancing around our downtown of our capital, turkeys chasing him while he plants trees. Where's everybody else from Ottawa? Where's the media coverage that doesn't end in the weather segment? Because this isn't just a natural disaster. This is a continued failure of leadership, a failure of vision, and a failure to learn. We've seen this almost every year for the past 5 years and even longer. So why is there no attention being paid to this other than the odd news story for 30 seconds at the end of the weather? Well, let's start with the facts. And in this season, the fires have already forced mass evacuations. In Cranberry Portage and surrounding communities, the blaze is moving fast, fueled by dry conditions and very high winds. Provincial firefighters, thankfully, are working around the clock, but they need more assistance. Local officials are stretched to the absolute breaking point already, and the season has just begun. And guess what? This is one of more than 100 wildfires currently active across the country just today. Manitoba isn't alone. Alberta, Saskatchewan, and BC have also been hit this season already with wildfires. And it's only May. Now you might say, well, May is about to end, but it's still just May. And where is the federal government in all of this? Why are they choosing to ignore that Canada is burning? Where is the response from the federal government? Mark Carney's government, barely a month into power, has been largely silent on this entire issue. Aren't they the environmentalists? Shouldn't this be deeply concerning to the net zero folks as well? Where is the emergency briefing happening? Where are the condolences? Where is the military support? Where is the funding for evacuations or for rebuilding Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC? Or for climate concerns? Instead, we're busy with royal visits and photo ops with the king and queen. We have a country on fire and our leaders are eating falafel with the king. This is the same federal government that claims to be different now, that claims to have changed, that claims to be a climate leader. They fly to COP summits They write beautiful speeches, but when the fires hit home, it's radio silence. You send a plane to go get the king, bring him back, then send him home and bring that plane back again. Couldn't he have just flown his own jet? What is with this prime minister? Like, that's not climate protection. Let's stop pretending this is just bad luck or an early summer, because it's not. Things have changed in Canada, and we know that. Whether you believe entirely in climate change or not, one of the things that's happening right now is we do see a lot more wildfires than we saw before, for whatever reason that may be and whatever reason you think it may be. We're seeing longer fire seasons, more intense droughts, more heat waves, and more displaced Canadians every single year. Some say it's climate change. Some say it's a cycle in our climate that we can't change. But yet Canada still doesn't have a national wildfire strategy, even though this happens more now. They definitely don't want to have one that actually works. We don't have enough water bombers. We don't have enough emergency shelters. We don't have enough interprovincial coordination. Funny, because we sent a whole bunch of water bombers to the United States last year. We're not ready, and people are paying the price. What I don't understand, as I think through the hosting of this show today, in this particular episode, is how can we send all that support to the U.S. and now we don't, like, this isn't new. We've been warned. We've had reports. We've had pilot projects. The federal government and provincial governments have continued to fail to act. We saw it in the video to open this episode. Year after year, this is a problem. Why isn't this changing? Well, let's talk about media priorities. Because when the media doesn't pay as much attention, nor do the governments, because they don't care as much if it's not a headline news story. So while 17,000 people were fleeing their homes, Canadian news networks ran fluff segments on what King Charles might eat on his visit to Canada. There was footage shown of a turkey running through his tree planting.
That's just a turkey. You know, thanks, turkey. It's an honor. I just, you know, this is a funny country sometimes. The blue beech, as I understand it, I mean, it's one of these trees that I think would have been chosen by the Canadians, but chosen for a reason, right? Chosen because it connects with the values of the monarch?
This was shown before the wildfires. The turkey running across the tree planting. No investigative journalism, no live national broadcasts from fire zones, no nightly panel demanding answers from the government. Very interesting. When parts of our country are burning, and the media is too distracted to notice, that's not just tone deaf. It's extremely dangerous to the folks who are going through this right now. And you have to question, is this just because it's the West? Our mainstream press has become so used to sugarcoating failure that they don't even know how to sound the alarm anymore. Where did they go? What happened to Canadian media? Because this is not normal, and this is not okay. Let me be crystal clear on all of this. Mass evacuations are not normal. Okay? They're not normal. And the fact that they've been happening year after year now in Canada is very concerning. Breathing in smoke for weeks is not normal. Watching towns burn every spring, you just don't know which, is not normal. And treating this as a seasonal nuisance instead of a full-blown national emergency, well, that's just political malpractice. We are watching the fabric of this country unravel in real time, and the people in power are just shrugging it off, inviting royalty to sit down and read their speeches for them. This is not just a climate crisis, it's a leadership crisis. All of this is really happening. These are not just play people. This is not a bunch of Lego people across the country that will just be replaced later. Same with their homes and everything they've worked for. What can you do? Of course, you can do things like share this video, demand real action, call your MP now if you're concerned about our friends out west. If you are out west, please be safe. Please follow the orders and the evacuation orders that you get. Anybody else can donate to local shelters. And for God's sake, stop accepting the idea that fire season is just part of the life of Canada now. It's not. It's still very concerning. It's deeply concerning. People are losing their homes and potentially their lives. It's the result of years of negligence by this government, poor planning, and political cowardice. Canadians are very strong. We're very resilient. We are all with you in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC. And we're not stupid. We know when we're being ignored. And I feel like you folks are being ignored. Because this isn't just smoke in the air. The people in the bigger cities like Toronto and Montreal often think, oh, look, it's an orangish sky. Looks apocalyptic. Let's take 17 photos of it. But it's actually people's futures going up in flames. You might not live around it, but it's real, and you need to pay attention. Thanks for watching Bakes on Things. Do what you can for those in need across this country. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.